I think we can get started. Right, already a bit late. Okay.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
yeah. Yes, team. So last week we were discussing about Jenkins, right? And there are few questions left. So we can close them today. So just open the document where we went through all these questions, and right now we are at question number 12. How will you define post in Jenkins? Team, anybody wants to answer that? Let me unmute you all. Yes, team. Any suggestions, like how do you add a post step in Jenkins? Second. Team, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, team.
We can hear you, Ramu.
Okay.
So when
I
you
didn't
say
get a
define
response.
post in Jenkins, what do you mean? Post build
Post step.
action? Or
Post build action. Post build action.
okay.
So let me go to the application. So I have my job here.
Mhm.
And we did discuss this in the last session as well, team. So if any of you are able to recollect any idea how do we add a post build step?
In the post build action, we have that add post build action, right? In that one, like if it's a Windows, we can go with the first one. Build 1 second, where it is batch Windows.
Right. So basically this is the step where we add. So either you could build other projects, or you could you can push it to anywhere else, etc. Send an email notification. But yeah, you're right. The option is add to post build action, which is at the bottom of the screen. Okay. Under post build actions. Okay. So how do you execute your Jenkins job, team? So assuming that I have created my job, I have entered all the details. How do I trigger this job?
After click on serve, we go to the manage Jenkins page. There we have the option of build jobs. So from that we have to run.
So where I'm referring to, Rishikesh, I have saved my job.
First we have to go to the Jenkins. From that we have to select the job, and
Yeah, I'm in my job, right? You can see my screen, right? So I'm in my job now. So how do I trigger
below,
this?
1 second. Click on build now. It will.
Right. So yeah. So that's what I was looking for. So build now will execute my job. Okay. So team, I would like others to answer as well. So these are very basic questions, and just to check your understanding. How to see the results of your executed job? Anyone else, maybe apart from Rishikesh, would like someone else like to give a try? How do you receive the result of a job that was executed?
Yeah, I can try. You have to go to the build history, and there you click and go to the console. Go down there and then click there.
Okay.
And then go to console output. That shows the results that.
Right. Yeah. Thanks. So that was the answer. Yeah. So you should be able to go down to the build history and check the. Okay. Okay. Under build history. Again, another very basic question. How do you know if your executed Jenkins job was a success or a failure?
If it's success, then I think it turns green. If it's failure, then it turns red. In the build history, that console output shows that.
Right, but not green. It's just blue.
Oh yeah, blue.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will show red.
Red. Okay. Color. It's red. So again, build history, again you answered this already, right? So we have the build history right here. Okay, so that is pretty much self-explanatory. Okay, how to add a plugin in Jenkins? How can I add a plugin in Jenkins?
In the manage plugins option in the main page, click on the Jenkins. On that one, we have that manage um, global configuration option. In that manage Jenkins, click on the manage Jenkins in the right hand side.
Mhm.
In this one, manage plugins option is there, right? In the system configuration, we had to add.
Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah, that's right. So I can search for a plugin and I can install it. Okay, under manage Jenkins. Under manage Jenkins. Okay. How to schedule a job in Jenkins? Another very important question that, like, you'll be asking in any interview. How can I schedule a job in Jenkins? I mean, yeah. So I have this job. How can I
In
schedule
the
this job?
in the build, if you open that, how to open that? In the configure, click on the configure.
Mhm.
In this
And
one,
then
there's an option called below. There's an option called schedules will be there. Scroll
go
down.
down. Build.
Where?
Go a little up.
Where?
Uh,
There's a build trigger. Built periodically in build triggers, the third option.
This one?
Then you schedule. Yeah.
Okay. So any example, how can I schedule? Say I want to schedule every 5 minutes or at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Any
it
example that
is
you can give?
it will be star 5. I'm not sure. It will be 5 star follow with 5, I guess.
Okay, so let's try that. Star. Right, so I think there should be a space. Let's check now. Right. So the format is correct. Now we can decide what is the timeline. Say if I want to schedule at say 9 o'clock. So I should give 9. It should say, so it says right. So it will schedule the build at 9 a.m. every day, right? And if I want to schedule, say maybe every 5 minutes, how do I do that? Star by 5, is it something like star by 5? I'm not sure. Let's see. Yes. So this format will trigger the job every 5 minutes, right? Or what else? So one more thing is if I want to schedule it on weekdays, then I think this is something like this. 1 2 5. So
Yeah.
last one, right? Is that correct?
Yes. 0 is, I think, Sunday, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So 1 2 5 is right. So that is the idea. So if you want to trigger it specifically on specific days, I think then maybe you can even mention a time, I guess. So if I say 39 30 something like this. Okay. Last on Friday and next January 9:30. Right. Yeah. So I can even specify the time. So based on my time and date as well, I can schedule a job. Right. And I believe that this is the most important feature of Jenkins. Right. You don't even have to be in front of your laptop or machine to trigger an execution. So just schedule a build and the system will automatically trigger it at that time. Okay. So using the build periodically option. Using the build. Okay. Can we push the Jenkins
Steve,
job? Yeah.
could you write those examples of timings under the 18 question, please? Like you have
Oh,
used the 5 stars, which, and also gave an example with
oh,
5 minutes. That would kind of help.
okay. Jenkins. I think I have written it down as well. Okay. All right. So where are my questions? Okay. Fine. All right. So assuming I have done an execution and say there was a test result Excel generated, right? Saying a pass or fail from my framework. All right. So how do I now push this results Excel back to the Jenkins? Can I add this additional document that was generated but push it back into Jenkins? How do I do that?
I think in the post build action only we will have this option, right? I'm not sure.
Attachments.
Let's see. Let me remove this post build. Where is my post? Okay. And so what is the option here?
The only option you have is email notification, or should be some attachment.
I'm not looking for an attachment. I'm just looking to push the file back to my GitHub. It's not that I'm trying to attach it to a mail or nothing.
That Git publisher, I'm not
Got it.
sure.
Yes, right. Yeah, that is a step two. So you have this Git publisher where you can specify whether push only if the build succeeds. So only if the build is successful, any file generated will be pushed back to your GitHub, right? So and you can mention the whether the master branch or the whatever branch you want to push it to. Okay. So generally, like when I'm working, I try to push it back to the master. So I always push it to the master. Okay. Right. So using the Git publisher. Okay. Right. I think this is the last question. Where can we set up predefined credentials in Jenkins? How do we set the credentials team? So these credentials, right? These were set somewhere. Like where do I set them?
While installing the tool.
No, I mean for a specific job, right? Once you have a job, you want to add a credential. Say if it's you are pulling it from a private Git repo, right? Just like how we are trying to do here. So these credentials have been saved somewhere in this Jenkins. So where have I done that?
Can you click on the Ramo, the username on top? I'm not sure in that one.
Okay.
Credentials.
Credentials.
Right. Yes, yes. So this is where you can edit your credentials or add a new one. Okay. Fine. Right under the profile. So where am I? Under so, profile. All
So for
right.
every
All right.
job that we push, that we have to create a new credential.
No, once you have saved your credentials, this is applicable across all jobs. You can just call them. So any job you go
Yeah,
in,
but
right?
you have
Mm-hmm.
you have
So this is
4
the
credentials.
I mean, yeah, you have the option to select them, right? So once you click on this drop down, you have all the 4 depending on your job, right? Everything could be a different repository. I could have 4 different repositories for 4 different jobs.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
All right.
So for every repository, it's a different UI user ID and
No,
credential.
not for
Private
every
repository.
repository. In GitHub, you take an account. You have multiple repositories in one account. That way you can create multiple accounts like your Gmail accounts. One could be corporate, one could be a trial projects and so on. And
Okay.
you have
Thank
different login credentials for each GitHub account. That is what these credentials are.
So they're basically solo then.
It's just a username and password for your GitHub account.
GitHub account. Okay. Thank you.
Correct. Welcome.
Okay. Okay, team. I think we have completed Jenkins. So thanks, team. I think most of you are able to answer the questions. Karthik, should we move to the next topic? I think we have covered everything.
Yes, Ramu.
fine. So let me close this. All right, so the next topic I picked for today is Selenium Webdriver specifically, right? Purely WebDriver based questions. So let's start with the basics again, right? So as you all know, Selenium is a test automation tool, and there have been like multiple releases, right? So what is the latest release of version of Selenium? I mean, are any of you using that, or like what is the current version you're using? Yes, Umesh, 4.0. I think Umesh pinged, yeah. So 4.0 is the latest version, right? So what is the difference between this and the earlier version? Anyone? Umesh, you can unmute and share your thoughts. Yeah, I mean 3.2 is the current version, fine. But what is the difference between 3.2 and 4.0? Why are we having a new version? All right, team. So the one major difference I can think of is I believe 4.0 comes as a browser-based plugin, right? So it's not like a standalone software that you need to install, which you are doing currently with the current version. So 4.0 can be added as a plugin from your Chrome or Firefox store, web store. And what is the other differences? I think the current version involves encoding or decoding of your APIs, I believe. That is the protocol it follows. While the latest version goes through the standard protocol, the W3C. So let me see if I can pull you down the exact. Yeah, I think I wanted it down. So yes, so let me just go through it, right? So the browser interaction for Selenium 3 is based on JSON wire protocol, and it requires encoding and decoding your API. Whereas in Selenium 4, we don't have this encoding and decoding at all. It purely follows the standard W3 standard protocol. Right? And the UI is better and rich in terms of in Selenium 4, and as well as I mentioned, it comes as a web-based plugin. So these are the major differences. Okay. Next,
So question.
Yeah.
So the very fourth sentence, it says that it follows the W3C standard protocol to do which driver in the browser. Could you explain what does W3C mean like? And is it something, an acronym to understand?
W3C, I think it is the worldwide consortium, right? It is a standard procedure that we follow. Karthik, I mean, will you be able to add something here? I'm not sure
Yeah.
how to put them.
So you can open that web also, Ramu. There's a good literature on Wikipedia also. It's a worldwide web consortium. It's basically how the set of standards and so on, a team of people, an organization that controls how our www works. What was the question about?
No, because the W3C had an acronym, and also it's talked about encoding and decoding part of it. It's a continuous sentence. So trying to understand how it's kind of linked.
Which question are we in?
The first question.
Yeah, based on like what is the
Okay.
difference between Selenium 3 and 4?
I'm not sure, Ramu.
It's more about the way how Selenium
I think
deals
it's
with
just the WebDriver and the way it's connecting to
connecting, right,
your
to the
browsers.
application.
Okay, thank you.
Fine. So how do I launch a browser using WebDriver? Yes, I think most of you would have done this.
Yeah, set the
How-
WebDriver path, and after that you can launch it. Initialize the.
I mean, can tell me the command, like say you have a WebDriver, okay, so you created an instance. Now, how do you launch a browser? What is the command you use?
So you use system.set
System.set.
property.
first setting the pass system.set property. After that, using the this constructor, like calling the WebDriver, whatever the object equal to new Chrome driver, that one, and after that
so which is what I'm asking for. Can you tell me that exact what is the statement I need to use to create an instance of a driver?
it will be WebDriver. After followed by the object, we can write driver equal to new space Chrome driver function. I mean the closing bracket.
This one. And what is the last step? So will this work?
No, this will not work. You have to give you have to then call it the system.set property, and then you have to give the path.
No, I'm not even going to the next line.
Semicolon.
Yeah.
You have to put the semicolon after this.
Right. So okay, now I have my instance. So how do I call a URL or I mean an application from here using this instance?
So you write system.set properties.
Driver.navigate to, and we can
Rishikesh, you cannot interrupt others when they're speaking as well. Someone else just started speaking before you, correct? Let's give time
sorry.
Please. I really love your answers, my friend. Don't get me wrong. But if someone started speaking, let's listen as well. Yes, please go ahead.
So yeah, after this, you have to write system.set properties. Set property.
Okay.
Open bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Then what do you call that? There I'm not able to say that. What's the
but I mean we can do this, but the much simpler option would be to just use the instance, right? I have my instance already, so let me use my instance and use the dot get property, and here I can pass my URL, right? Whatever URL I want to use.
Yeah.
So this is the more simpler approach.
All right, and then semicolon. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. All right. So so this is probably the most simplest way to launch a browser, right? Launch a browser with an URL. Okay. And what else?
Anyone can answer why it is WebDriver new Chrome driver? Why is it not WebDriver there?
Because it's a syntax. Object has to be referred.
It is a syntax. Object has
and
to
it's
be
allocating the space as well.
So why can't I just say new WebDriver? Why should I say?
You could name it as you want, right?
Here, like say example, we are going to use Chrome, means you're using Chrome driver. So in the WebDriver also we can use Chrome driver, but that will be specific to Chrome alone.
Okay. From more of a Java oops perspective, anyone? 1 second, let me see. Kailash, I unmuted you. Anyone else? White team, anyone?
Yes, I think WebDriver new, it's supposed to be WebDriver as well, because you're creating a WebDriver object, not a Chrome driver object. So,
hello, hi Karthik. Are you able to listen me?
Team, give me 30 seconds. I'm just have got a phone call. Give me a minute, please.
Hello.
I'm sorry, I had an urgent call that I had to get into. I missed something. Someone did answer. Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Hi Karthik. So actually, we are using the new keyword for the creating the object of the driver.
Correct.
Yes.
And it is creating an instance of that
Yes.
class.
Yes.
Now,
That's
anyone can explain me about the class and what does it?
Yeah, Karthik.
If I create,
WebDriver is the class name, and
Mm-hmm.
driver is the object which we are creating in WebDriver class, and we are creating a new object in the class WebDriver by writing new. So in that, yeah, this is the scenario where we are writing, we are creating a new object in a class WebDriver.
Okay.
Karthik, this is Zahid.
Yes.
I wanted to add a little bit. When we create the WebDriver, is a WebDriver, we are creating the instance of this WebDriver, not a Chrome driver. So I believe when I write WebDriver, I have to say the same new WebDriver. If I wanted to do Chrome driver, I could say Chrome WebDriver. I mean, I'm not sure whether I'm right or wrong, but that's what I follow the pattern. So
right.
yeah.
So that's still where I'm trying to get answers from as to what is still the core difference between the name WebDriver, Chrome driver, or Firefox driver, or Edge, or HTML unit, or Safari drivers.
So it's just my guess, Karthik. Chrome driver or Internet Explorer driver or other drivers. I think all these are the keywords in Java. We cannot write something else like Chrome WebDriver or Safari WebDriver or IE WebDriver. It doesn't work. That's why we are using Chrome driver.
Okay. Can I write WebDriver driver like this, everyone?
Yes.
Is this valid?
Variable.
And can I say driver equals to new Firefox driver?
Yes.
Okay, so in this case, I'll say sorry, misspelled.
I disagree. I don't know whether if I write it driver equal to new Firefox driver.
Why?
We can write, Karthik.
Because we can.
Yes, actually we can write.
Variable. Hello.
So yes.
The local variable we can declare.
It's local or global or class instance level. We can split those declaration into two lines, but I'm trying to understand the difference between WebDriver and Chrome driver or Firefox driver. From a Java end of it, all when we talk about Selenium, it is nothing but a lot of Java programs written to handle the Selenium commands at the back end, correct? So OOPS concept, we basically create a class and we create an object out of it. Yes or no?
Yes.
That's an instance, correct?
Yes.
Now, can I, so when we create an instance of it, I can say now if I write, for example, this command, WebDriver myd equals new WebDriver, will this work?
Yes.
Ignore those upper lower cases, please.
Yes.
No, it will not work. Pause, and I want you all to go back and look and research once again, please. WebDriver is a Java interface. It is not a fully implemented class. It only gives a structure of what methods or parameters or argument it holds. Each child class then extends it and it implements that interface to become a Chrome driver with a specific implementation for Chrome, then for Firefox and so on. So this is a class, a child class, yes, but WebDriver is an interface. It's a Java interface team. It's not a Java class that can be implemented, or you can take an instance of it. So you cannot create an object out of this directly. So Selenium team created WebDriver as generic, and then the actual implementation is created in the Chrome driver class, Firefox driver, and others, and so on. Did it make sense what I'm saying, team?
Yes.
Okay, so all the commands, whatever needed, are there, but how to do it to Chrome is different, how to do it to Firefox is different. So that's an interface, and then you have created an implementation class from it. So
Karthik, one thought. So in the WebDriver one, so if you use Chrome driver, it will work, right? So why, say example, if you want to run it on Chrome drivers, Chrome alone, if you use Chrome driver, what's the difference between the WebDriver and Chrome driver? Will that like a match to match? I mean, we can use interchangeably, or like why
no,
we are
you
going
start
for?
with your interface. What your interface is. It has overall. So there are a lot of things. Whatever is different from Chrome driver, personalized custom is there within Chrome driver. So it has the basic structure, and Chrome driver implements it.
Okay.
Just do a little study on this fact once again, team. You'll be able to get some more specific ideas why this line is different. What is the difference between that interface and the implementation classes of it?
So if you explain a little bit more about the WebDriver equal to new Chrome driver, right? So WebDriver is interface, as you said. Driver
Correct.
is an object you have created.
Yes.
And then
Of
new
the
Chrome driver.
type Chrome driver.
Yeah.
Chrome
So
driver is a class that implements your WebDriver interface.
okay. So why not, if I write new WebDriver, wouldn't be doing the same thing as new
Then
Chrome
what
driver
is the
doing?
difference between a Java interface and a Java class? That would be my next question.
I believe interface is actually open the way how to get into the Java file, but when a class itself is particularly indicating which class I'm going to work with. So that one is the reservoir, excuse me. Another one is I have user created class, I guess.
No. So interface is basically giving you an abstract or overall definition as to what it will be. It'll give you what methods it'll have and so on. There'll be no print statements. There'll be nothing in that. So I think the best one to show would be w3schools.com. Let me see.
Rajiv, கத்தாத.
Selenium is implemented is also important, team. What Ram
Hello, Karthik, I can't hear you. Hello.
We can hear you, but not Karthik.
I think maybe he's having some network. Karthik, are you there? Hello.
I think we lost him.
Okay,
Well,
okay, Tim. Yeah. So meanwhile, I think I'll just proceed with the next question, and maybe once Karthik is back, he can share his inputs. Right. So where was I?
Ramo,
Okay.
I'm sorry again. Would you be able to share those documents to our? I mean, is
Just
it?
a minute. I'm getting a call from Karthik. Please hold on.
Okay.
Hello. Oh, okay, Karthik. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sure, Karthik. Sure. Okay, team. So Karthik has lost his network, James, and he has asked you guys to do a little bit research on this from your end, and then maybe we can discuss in the next session.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Okay. So, in the sake of the interest of time, I'm just proceeding to the next one. All right. Okay. So yeah. What are the different types of locators in Selenium, team?
ID, class name, tag name, linked list, partial linked list, XPath,
Okay.
CSS.
Awesome. Guys. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. Whatever written down. Okay. So just written down it here as well. Yeah. So starting with the ID, we have the name, right? Name, link text, partial link text, and then the tag name and XPath. Yeah, and then CSS, of course. So right, these are the locators which you use in Selenium predominantly. Okay, so I'm not going into each one, right? So just at a high level, I've given all the select locators, and you can explore on these on your own. Okay, team. So what is the difference between assert and verify commands, team?
So with the verify command, you can still execute the execute till the end, but with the assert, you cannot execute. It will stop executing the program.
Okay, absolutely spot on. Yeah. So let me just copy it. Okay, so in case of assertion, if the condition is not met, as you mentioned, the execution will be terminated, right? It won't even proceed to the next step. Whereas in case of verify, it's more like a check. So it's just like where I'm checking whether there is a value which is matching, right? And even if the value is not matching, it will just record that and proceed to the next step, isn't it? So generally verify text we use when we want to validate something. Say for example, you're doing a save on a page, right? And as soon as you do a save, you get a success message saying that the save was successful. So that success message is going to be my verify text. So I will, using this command, I will verify whether the text is matching with what I am expecting. Say, the save is successful. If that, so in case of verify, if that text did not match, it will still proceed to the next step. But in case of the same condition, I try with an assert. If the success message is not returned, right, the execution will be aborted. So yeah, so that is the major difference. Okay, fine. Next one. What are the different types of waits available in WebDriver, team?
Implicit wait and explicit wait.
Yes. So what is the difference? Okay, we understand there are two types. What is the difference between these two?
The subsequent test type would only execute when 30 seconds have elapsed after executing, and
Okay.
explicit wait for use to halt execution till the time particular condition met.
Right. So you are right about the implicit wait, right? So it is by default it waits for 30 seconds, and it is inbuilt within Selenium. So each step, right? Say for example, if my step is looking for to launch a browser, and the browser is not launched for some reason, so Selenium by default will wait 30 seconds. If it's in the next step when it's looking for an element, say the login button or the username button, and after 30 seconds it will close. So that is the implicit wait which is inbuilt in Selenium. Explicit wait is something which I am asking Selenium to wait forcefully. Say the save example, right? So after clicking on save, sometimes it might take 5 seconds for the success message to come up. So the page has to load completely, right? Whatever you saved. So in those scenarios, I will specifically tell Selenium, do explicit wait of so and so seconds. So for example, so if you see here, right, this is an example of explicit wait. After launching my URL, I want to ensure there is sufficient time for the page to load. So I specifically say wait for a minimum of 5 seconds before you proceed to the next line. Right, team? Hope I'm making sense. Okay, any questions so far? Right. Okay, explicit wait and implicit wait. Let me go back to my questions. Right, yeah. So these are the two major types of waits available in WebDriver. Right. So what is the command used to get all the links present in a web page, team? Again, very common interview question. You can find this in every interview question that you on Google. So which command will get you all the links present in a web page? Any guesses?
Get elements.
I think get list, I guess.
Get all the links. I'm trying to get all the links, right? So let's see what is the answer. I don't recollect it either. Yeah. So find elements. Yeah. So that is the one. Find elements. Find elements. Yeah. So right. So if I use this S is the key, right? So find elements by any tag, right? Be it this tag or since A is commonly used for any links, I use that example. So whatever links, if I pass the same command in Google page, it will get me like thousands of links. Right. What is the next question? Method in Selenium which is used to terminate the browser or window or tab which is currently having functions. How can I close the browser, current browser?
Close.
Or tab. The close tab?
Yeah.
Exit.
I think quit.
I think quit.
Close and quit.
Okay, then what is the difference between close and quit browser? We have close as well as quit command, right? What is the difference?
Close will close only the current browser. Quit means it will close all the browsers.
Is that the only thing? Yeah, I mean, it will close all the browsers. Apart from that, there is one important step that it does. It will also close what else?
Current browser.
Sorry?
I think.
Current browser.
Yeah, close will close the current browser. What will quit do?
Quit do entire all application.
Close all browsers and what else? There is one more thing it does. Somebody is pinging. Yes, exactly, Rohini. It will close the driver, right? It will close the driver instance as well. So meaning your execution itself will be stopped. That is the major difference. Okay, fine. Next question. When does WebDriver throw element not visible exception? Have you guys seen this exception? When do you get this exception generally?
When it can't identify the element on the website, or it's dynamic.
It is able to identify. That is the difference. Right, but as the name says, right, it is not the element is not visible. So for example,
visible, it's not seen. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, it is in the application. It is able to identify that element, but there is a pop-up or some window on the foreground which is not able to allowing it to do any action on that particular element. So that is the difference.
Yeah, just to
So
add
what
on.
about the disable element? It will throw same exception.
Sorry, Google?
No. Actually, I'm asking about what about the disabled element? If save button or something next button is disabled, then this error will throw.
No, because the element itself is disabled, right? So I don't think it will be able to recognize the element in the first place. So here the scenario is it is able to recognize the element, but it is not able to perform any action because some pop-up or something is preventing it from doing that action. That is the difference.
It could be that the page is taking some time to be to load. Then also it will throw this exception as well.
In that case, your element will not be recognized, right? If the page is not loaded, your element will not be loaded as well.
Okay.
So here it's clearly a case of the page is loaded, the element is there, but for some pop-up is there which is not allowing it to do. So if I can try to show some example, let me see if I can get something here. Pop-up, let's see. Let me see if I can find some pop-up or something.
I think you can go to any site like I think Best Buy. They just showed a lot of pop-ups before.
With which site? I didn't get you.
You can go to any site that shows the pop-ups.
So I'm just looking. I'm just wondering which site can I go.
Best Buy, you can try.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Let me see that.
Just guessing, maybe.
Yeah, I think it should be here. It's some pop-up should be there, some ad or something. Right, Tim. So this is a perfect example, right? So say now if I want to click on deal of the day, right? So I mean, Selenium will identify this. This definitely will identify this deal of the day, particular text, but it would not be able to click on that because there is some pop-up on the foreground, right? Just like how we saw. I think I posted by mistake. So yeah, that was the idea, team. So something is on the foreground which doesn't allow you to perform this step. Let me go back again. Let's see if I get it again. Okay, I think the pop is gone now. But yeah, that was the idea, guys. So something is on the foreground which doesn't allow you to perform the action on the element which is behind the pop-up or the advertisement or whatever. Okay. I think I put it in certain words. When the WebDriver is able to locate the web element on current web page, but it is not visible on screen. All right, team. Right, fine. Okay, next question. Consider that you want to double click on an element or use any key from keyboard using WebDriver. Which class will you use to perform the above operation in Selenium? How do I perform a double click? Any guesses, team? Want to double click element? So I think there is a double click command using the actions tab. Maybe let me see actions class. Yeah, I think so. Let me copy this. Right, team. So actions is another class, right, of Selenium, which will allow me to perform specific actions like doing a tab or an enter or a key press. So, and double click is one of the attributes of this actions class, wherein I can using this instance of this actions class, I can perform a double click operation on that specific element. Is it clear, team? Hope it's straightforward. Okay. I think we'll end this with this question, team. So let this be the last question for today, and rest we can see tomorrow. Right. So what will be returned for an element not found by find elements method in Selenium? Right. So earlier we saw this find elements, right? So say there is no match for your find elements. What will be returned? Will it be an error? Say there are like no elements with the tag name A. What will you get when you run this code in Selenium?
Element not found.
Element not found exception.
Exception.
Element not found will happen for find element alone. If it is just find element, then yes, you will get element not found. But when you use find elements, it is going to be a list of values, right? So probably when the list is empty, it should be returning you an empty list, right? So it will return an empty list. So just try this, right? Open your Eclipse, go to a page, and then see whether what are you getting, and let me know tomorrow. Okay. But it's not an element not found exception. That is applicable only for find element. All right. So I will end with this question. Just try this tomorrow, and you guys can show me your screen, maybe like how it worked, or if there's a different exception.
Okay, Ramu.
Hmm?
I just have a question. This is the first day in joining this mock interview. Is there a Skype for this?
No, Arti. We haven't created any specific group as well. You can use the same November group, November 2020.
2020. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, team. So I have kept it very abstract, team. So I have not gone into detail. So I would suggest you try to do these things practically, right? Create elements using these locators, or try find elements and see what happens if there is no match. Just try these things, and maybe you can share your thoughts tomorrow.
Have you shared this document in Drive, Ramu?
So far nobody requested, right? So yeah, let me do it now. I will put it in the group, team. Yeah, I'll put it in the group. Okay. But by the way, which you guys are accessing any specific WebDriver link? I mean Google link that Karthik shared you. Is there anything that you follow to access any of the documents?
Normally, Karthik will share to all of the members in the Google Drive.
I think it's the November 2020 QASDT training.
Right. Oh, right. Fine. Okay. Let me put it there, guys. Yeah. If you can access it, I will put it there. Yeah. Thanks, team. Thank you. Bye.